Hi and welcome. I'm inviting to our talk today Michal Chorev, my friend, and we are going to speak.
Hi, Dorit.
Hi, Michal. Good to see you.
Yeah, good morning or
Good morning.
noon.
Good morning, Amsterdam.
Yeah, today it's a bit cold here. I would like to talk to you a little bit today and get to know you a little bit. So maybe you can first tell us who you are, and
Okay.
then I will.
Yeah. So my name is Dorit Bar. I live and work mainly in Israel and also have sessions by Zoom. I'm a sexual therapist and a healer. I work with individuals and couples for almost 15 years, sharing healing around relationship challenges around sexuality, intimacy, and communication. I work with somatic tools, and I created an approach that I call Agana Therapy Healing. And today it's the first time I'm talking with Michal live. Michal is a very good friend of mine, and she's a healer herself. She will introduce herself now. And we are trying to create a series of talks around healing. So stay tuned and ask questions. We would love to get to know you also through those talks.
Yeah.
So please tell us who you are, what are you doing, where you are.
Yeah, so I live in Amsterdam and I've been studying for many years medicine and specifically Japanese and Chinese medicine. And I've been treating people with all kind of it started with physical issues. And of course, the way we work is that it is all connected, the physical and the emotional part of our body. So with time, I became also a kind of a therapist, and I work with people to ask and to learn what is the connection between their physical pain and the emotional status or whatever they are feeling. And it's a way to reconnect to our body. And yeah, I also have other tools like herbs and all kind of needles and all kind of methods. But I think that the most important part in the whole journey is to get to know our body and get to know how it works and how we can reconnect to it so that we enjoy everything and live more in a harmony with everything that is happening.
Yeah. So, and you are working in Amsterdam, yeah?
I live in Amsterdam and I work here. Although my Israeli accent, I also work here in English and also try to speak some Dutch, but that's for a later time.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today we decided that we start with an introduction.
Yeah.
And we are going to speak about the basic questions. The basic question, what is conscious sexuality? Is there another question, Michal, that you feel maybe you want to ask me that will help me to open this very wide and very deep subject?
Yeah, I think let's start with what is it, and later we can learn. I can ask more questions about how it connects to our everyday life and what can we practice actually.
Great. So conscious sexuality is many things, but I decided today, in order to be simple, I will draw the line that I call the spiral of conscious sexuality. So when you listen to me, you can take paper and draw this structure of a spiral. The spiral is built of 5 layers. The first layer is the most inner inside the spiral, is the mental sexuality. The second layer is wild sexuality. The third layer, sensual sexuality. The fourth layer, intimate sexuality. And the fifth layer, the most expanded one, I call it unity or tantra or meditative sexuality. Yeah. And today I'm going to challenge myself. I never done it like that. And I will explain the spiral from the most expanded layer to the most reduced layer. Okay?
To the narrowest one.
To the narrow one. Yeah, thank you. So Tantra or unity or meditative sexuality, when I listen to those words, I feel it in my body. It's the situation when me and my partner we feel that we are one. Usually it doesn't happen directly when we just lie down in our bed. It takes a few moments or a few minutes or a few hours or a few years. It's not the basic when we just come to make love, to have sex. We have to take time to synchronize. It's like two instruments that learn how to create music in order to create harmony. So in this layer, which is the most deep one and allow us to feel the highest potential of sexuality, we are one. We are one. We are not two bodies. We are one. We are moving. We are creating pleasure to one another. Our breathing is in harmony. Our touching in harmony. We are very quiet. The mind is very quiet. This is why I call it also meditative sexuality. And I have to say, this level of unity is not something that we do. It's not a doing. It's a level of being.
Yeah.
And sometimes we can meet it as a result of the other layer of the intimate sexuality. So the intimate sexuality is a sexuality that we can meet with, usually with a partner that we know one another. We have friendship between us. We know how to laugh together. We know how to cry together. And when we have this intimate sexuality, we allow ourselves to touch and to create a mutual pleasure, but also we allow ourselves to take short breaks, to breathe, to talk, to say something like, I love you, or to say something like, wow, this touch is really touching me in a very deep place. Please stay there for a few moments. The intimate sexuality is not, we are not pursuing the orgasm. Yeah. The orgasm can come, and usually it comes. It can be my orgasm, his orgasm, or both our orgasms. But it's not the purpose of the meeting. The purpose of the meeting is, let's be close. Let's feel love through the bodies. So intimate sexuality is really about making love. So it doesn't have to include penetration. It can be a very deep kiss. It can be a very deep massage. But it has all the components of, I see you, I feel you, I care about you. Your pleasure is my pleasure. It's a very, very deep emotional level of sexuality. Yeah. Now, when we have that options in our relationship, then sometimes naturally it will grow into the meditative level. It will just like being, we are so intimate and so close, and then in a moment, it's like we move to another dimension. And in this dimension, we don't need words usually. We are just in meditation. And our bodies is still maybe moving or touching one another in a very pleasant posture.
Yeah, and is there something that practice to move between the two levels that you just mentioned? Because you
No,
still didn't feel
I don't think there is anything we should practice. I feel the level of intimate sexuality is the most important one for couples and individuals. Let's say if all the people all around the world would know how to make love, we will not have wars. And the level of stress, anxiety, and depression will go down. And also the level of divorce will decline, because it's enough. We don't have to do meditation is not something that we do. Meditation is a dimension that we meet when we let go of any purpose and any goal that we want to achieve.
Yeah.
So I would like to say some things about the sensual sexuality and the other three layers.
Yeah.
So sensual sexuality is a level of sexuality that the goal is the pleasure. We want to create pleasure with all our five senses. We enjoy looking at one another. We enjoy listening to the vocals of one another, talking or just humming together. We enjoy the touch, the smell, the taste. We touch all the body. Sensual sexuality, erotic sexuality, we touch all the body. And it's easy to understand what is sensual sexuality when we compare it to the wild sexuality. In this level, we are very determined to get an orgasm. And usually we focus our energy in our genitals. And usually the wild sexuality is short, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, what we call quickie.
Yeah.
And in the best level of wild sexuality, both sides will have orgasm. Unfortunately, in the main collective culture, usually the orgasm of the men is the limit of the quickie. But of course, in good relationship, quickie can be a great thing when we have only 10 minutes, 15 minutes. We just have to remember that both sides want to feel pleasure. So if we only have 15 minutes, make sure that you take care of one another, because if we don't do it, then the level of passion and desire will decline in the relationship.
Yeah.
So I want to emphasize that all the layers are important. I'm not trying to say that only Tantra, only unity, or only intimacy is the best sexuality to have.
Yeah.
Sexuality is like a playground, and the more we explore and open to new levels, the more we will have love and connection in the relationship.
Yeah, and we can actually play in all of them. So it's not like we are aiming to do only one of them or the other.
Yeah, I would suggest to play. I would suggest to play, but also I would suggest to be aware of our seal glass, איך אומרים? תקרת זכוכית?
Yeah.
Seal glass. So I would suggest to be aware if we have any boundary of this is all we know how to do. Maybe all we know how to do is the wild sexuality. Most couples, this is the only sexuality they know. And also the last level that I will explain, and the most complex one and the most common one, is the mental sexuality.
Yeah.
The mental sexuality, yeah.
I just want to say that it's also what we mostly learn, right? So when we watch a movie or see a series, we see this kind of sexuality, and that's what we aim for, because that's what we know.
Exactly. So in the mental sexuality, it's like we have a pattern and we know it ahead. I will go down on you, then you go down on me, then I penetrate, then you come, I do it with my finger, then we rest, something like that. So if we do it one time, it's okay. But if we do it all the time, It's create boredom, and again decline a level of passion and desire and distance between the couple.
Yeah.
So mental sexuality is any kind of sexuality that is not connected to the body and the heart. So it can be using fantasies and pictures in my head while I'm in touch with my partner. It can be watching porn while I'm in touch with my partner or in my masturbation. And it can be this level of sexuality, this pattern, a sexuality that has the same pattern yesterday, today, tomorrow, the next week. In my profession, I'm working with couples many, many years. A lot of people for 20 years together, they have the same sex pattern. I sit in front of it and I say, how do you do it? And then I understand they don't really enjoy it for a long, long time, but they feel shame and they don't feel comfortable to speak about it with one another. So this is the 5 layers.
Yeah. And I think what you just said is going to lead me to my question. What happens when we don't practice and play between these 5 levels?
Yeah, I think the basic one that happens when we are ignorant about the level of conscious sexuality is that we don't fulfill our full potential of intimacy and sexuality. We will feel frustration, anger around our relationship. And most of the time we will feel a decline along the years, decline in the level of passion and desire, distance, and we will feel many times that the number of times we want to have sex is going down and down and down because it's not fun.
Yeah.
And if we use sexuality as a playground and explore how is it to open my heart when my partner touch me, not only feel the pleasure but also open my heart. How is it to ask him or her to touch me all over the body and not only in my genitals? When we have this level of exploration, the level of pleasure go up, the level of intimacy go up, and the level of desire go up. And then I can be in a relationship with the same partner for 20 years,
Yeah.
but I will feel that not a decline. What is the opposite of decline? I will feel increase of the level of passion and desire.
Yeah. And can I also add?
Yes, please.
Yeah, and that's in my point of view, we also strengthen our connection with our own body and our partner with their body, and so we are all like 4 things connected to each other, or however we look at it.
Yeah, no question that the more I know all the senses in my body and play with all the senses of my partner, the level of pleasure comes up and the level of emotional intimacy grow.
Yeah.
Of course, we have to say, and maybe we will talk about it in our next session, that when I share with people the spiral of conscious sexuality, they all say, wow, this is beautiful. Please teach me more. Most of the people are curious and they want to learn, but the most challenging level is to open the heart and be vulnerable.
Yeah.
In the sexual space.
Yeah.
And leave our culture outside the door, the culture that teaches us that sexuality means penetrations, means orgasm. If I don't orgasm in a penetration, I'm not a good woman. I have to fix myself or something. So we have many, many things to talk about.
Yeah.
But I think for today, we created the first introduction, a very good one.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Perfect. I find it so interesting and inspiring, because we are all in a practice, you know, we all still learn and still develop in a way. And
Exactly.
yeah, it's all it's giving us a push, you know, like that's how I feel.
Yeah, I'm happy you brought this word development, because really sexuality is not only a playground, but it is a space of developing ourselves as humans, as sexual humans.
Yeah.
And if we want to develop, then we will listen to this introduction and just think about it, just feel it, and not necessarily directly try to do it.
Yeah.
But just listen to it and see what kind of questions comes to me. We will be very happy to read your comments and to listen to questions. You can DM us or just write a comment in the live. And we are about to do these live shows together, me and Michal, every 2 weeks. So please join us.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michal.
Thank you very
Toda.
much, Dorit. Thank you.
I enjoyed
Have a
a lot.
beautiful day.
Thank you. Have a good day. Ciao, ciao.
Thanks.
Ciao.